Hello, everybody. Milton Hershey here, and I've come to say I'm a robosexual. And this is the Generic Lucky Shoot Podcast. Today, I am joined by May, Matt, and Marcus. Talking about robots, there's this new game that takes place in 2077 with a bunch of androids and robots. May's played it. I don't think Matt and I have, but it's called Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know
Yeah,
if
you
anyone
probably
on the
have never
planet's
heard
heard
of
of it.
it.
Pretty small, indie game, I think, maybe. Yeah, nobody really knows about it. So,
Yeah, it's not like it was hyped up or anything or promised to have so many features.
or
There's
really
none of that.
interactive NPCs that were definitely not as big of a letdown as Oblivion itself.
Yeah. Oh my god, this game felt like it came out 10 years ago. Just
Dead
what the
ass.
fuck?
The response feels like the response from Oblivion, but like less love. Oblivion actually had a decent amount of love
Well, yeah. Well,
in the
that game came
response.
out came out in 2006.
Yeah, because they promised NPCs that had never been done before. That was the thing. But
Yeah.
Cyberpunk was promising NPCs that have been done before, so there was not as much love as there was for Oblivion.
Yeah,
How is it?
Cyberpunk
How
was
is it?
2020's final insult, to say the least.
What's up, Matt?
How is it possible that they could work on it for like 8 to 10 years and come out with this? What was going on? Does
I
anybody
don't
know what was going on behind the scenes?
I think they were working on it for less time because they were also working on Witcher 3, but they only announced it at 2013. But I think they started to work on it full time after the release of Witcher 3. So that must have been like 3 or 4 years in development. I don't know about the budget.
I mean, with all that hype, I gotta imagine if they didn't have a big budget to start with, they got one after production started. Gotta
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, with all those epic trailers and that one that remember that one demo back in 2008. It was like a trailer gameplay demo, whatever, and it was like 45 minutes in length, and then they were just showing off all these new features, the cool gunplay, all the little choices you can make, and the promise that all of your decisions have this huge impact on the world. Remember seeing that?
And Keanu Reeves.
A bit.
Keanu Reeves, yeah,
Hey, at least we
totally.
got Keanu Reeves in a video game. That's the real highlight.
As a main character who follows you around.
Don't you get to play him from time to time? I saw some gameplay, right?
Yeah, you can.
I'm not
It's
tripping.
great.
Okay.
Hmm.
You're not tripping.
Dude, I like seeing the comparison videos between Red Dead Redemption 2 NPCs and the Cyberpunk 2077 NPCs. Those comparisons are brutal.
Yeah, I shared one with you.
Oh yeah, okay, that is where I got it from.
Yeah, I don't know. This game is very disappointing to say the least. Just beyond the bugs.
What other
Maybe
than
I
the
was
bugs is wrong with it?
well, everything feels on rails. Like you go on a mission, you're promised to have like, different dialogue options, different outcomes, but most of the time it just railroads you. It's just go point A, point B. Do you want to go stealth or do you want to go guns blazing? Doesn't really matter. And occasionally you have a choice you can make at the end of a quest, but it's usually a good ending or a bad ending. But it doesn't really matter because it has no effect on the larger world or the context around it.
So it's like they promised Mass Effect and they gave us garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh no. I thought Fallout 4 was more immersive than this game.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Because that game got shit talked beyond belief.
Yeah. Like towards the beginning, I was really worried about how NPCs would react to me. So every mission, I decided to go stealth and non-lethal. But then as soon as I discovered, wait, none of that actually matters. My companions do not give a shit if I just slaughter like 50 people. So I just, get a revolver because it's pretty overpowered, equip it with a suppressor, and just pick off everybody because, it's really easy to do. All the NPCs are idiotic and they just walk around in circles. And you can stand in front of them for like 6 seconds before they actually discover you.
How does it compare? Because you've played Deus Ex Machina, right?
Yeah.
How does it compare to Deus Ex Machina?
Um, Not very well.
It's
Like,
I feel like the settings are somewhat similar.
and the
Um,
setting is really good in Cyberpunk. I mean,
hmm.
it's level design not so much because let's say that you have to you're on a side quest and you have to extract this piece of equipment that some gang stored away. So you can choose how to approach it, and there's 4 ways. Like you can go guns and blazing, but then you can walk down a path, and then there's a door that you can break through, and then you can determine if you're strong enough to open it. If not, keep walking, and then you see a gate. And you have this technical ability, and if your technical ability is high enough, you can open it. And if that doesn't work, you can just keep walking, and then you find an open crevice in the wall, and then you can just go in stealth. Like it feels like they just lay all those options right in front of you. Dialogue options also suck because you don't like all the speech checks don't do shit. Not only that they don't affect the story or how the characters think or how the characters think of you. It doesn't even give you an advantage. Like, sometimes like some other games where you use speech checks, it doesn't often change the story, but it gives you some sort of advantage. Like, oh, it increases my reward after this quest, or hey, I got this cool weapon or whatever. No, this game is just it. All the speech checks do is make your character sound smart, and that's all there is.
Nice, but not really any impact on gameplay.
Not really, no.
What company made this?
CD
Again?
Projekt Red.
They did
How's their
the Witcher
stocks
series
doing?
as well. If you know the Witcher series
Oh,
at all.
yeah, that's like an awesome series. How,
Yeah.
how how the fuck is it possible that they made such an awesome series and then just made the complete opposite in just a couple of years?
Well, I think they were trying to do something that they were not experienced in, or because they never made a game like Cyberpunk before.
What do you mean by that?
They never tried, gun. I don't think they ever tried gunplay or vehicles
Oh,
or science fiction.
Mm.
yeah, I can see that. I mean, the horse controls in Witcher were kind of clunky, and trying to extrapolate that onto cars probably wasn't
Yeah.
ideal.
No.
Yeah. At least you can call your car like you can call it Roach.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes when you call your car, it just spawns right in front of you.
Nice.
I
Convenient.
think it crushed. I think it crushed an NPC once.
Can we just have a hats off moment to Rockstar Games, because they're nobody is like, wow, these are the best games ever, but they're always all of their games are just like good. You know,
Oh my god.
like Grand Theft Auto, all of those games, they're good, and Red Dead Redemption, both those games, they're good. Like, they're probably not the best game you're ever gonna play in your life, but they're thoroughly enjoyable, and you can play them like whenever as well. Like, I
Yeah.
never really get tired of playing them. Like if anyone's ever like, "Hey man, do you want to come over, drink some booze, and play Grand Theft Auto?" I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, sure. That sounds like a good night."
Yeah. Let's run over some civilians.
Yeah, let's run away from the
See,
cops. Oh yeah,
see how high they can fly.
Yeah. Drive while drinking.
Oh, that's always fun to do in that game.
hell yeah. That game's just
Yeah.
No, I mean, no. I mean like driving Grand Theft Auto while actually drunk.
that too. You can be
Yeah.
drunk
Or,
as the player and as the character driving.
Yeah.
And
oh my
high.
god, what a what a trip.
You can be drunk and high in real life and drunk and high as your character in the game and drive. Theoretically.
Or fly a plane.
Or helicopter, really. Yeah, you can do it all.
God, like I finished Grand Theft Auto 5 a week before Cyberpunk, and I was like, the GTA 5 is kind of meh, not my kind of game, but I bet Cyberpunk will be a better game than this. Nope, wrong. I was completely wrong.
The worst part of GTA for me is the gunplay controls. Games with the guns are meant to be first person. That's just my standpoint in life. You should be looking down the scope. That's
Movement,
changed my mind.
it's not really the gunplay for GTA that gets me. It's the movement, like how slow your character is, and it feels every time you move, it feels like you're in a tub of molasses.
Hmm.
And plus, it's also pretty unbalanced as well, because all you have to do is just. I mean, you earn money really easily in GTA 5. All you have to do is go to the gun shop once in a while, buy the best rifles, get some rockets, some grenades, and you're pretty much set to go.
Yeah, I think Rockstar understood after a few of their GTA games that the point was not to have a fair and balanced game. It was to have a game where you go in and you just do whatever the fuck you want. Just entirely
They did
sandbox.
they did a really good job with Max Payne 3. Have you ever played that?
No, I haven't played their Max Payne series at all. I've heard they're fantastic, though.
I've only played the third one, but holy shit, it had one of the best gunplays I've ever played. I mean, it was really similar to GTA 5, but it's a lot better with it handles mobility a lot better. There's bullet time, you can dive. It's just a really good game.
Is Payday 3. When did that come out?
Max Payne 3,
Or Max. I was thinking.
Payday 3. I think it came out a year before GTA 5.
Why was I thinking
But that
Payday?
game was
That's also a game.
Payday.
That is a game. Yeah, that's like bank robbery game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. When did Max Payne come out?
Wait, let me check.
Wonder if they're gonna make another one of those.
oh, wait.
Probably.
I know that Max Payne was one of the most expensive games ever developed. It's within the top 10.
In terms of production cost or cost as consumer cost.
Production.
Yeah.
May 15th, 2012.
I gotta imagine. Oh, 2012. So that's pretty old at this point. Still holds
Yeah.
up though.
Oh, it holds up very well. It looks really good too.
That's the sign of a game with really good gameplay design. Because it's like Fable, man.
It's
Fable's graphics don't hold up as well in the modern day, but Fable's gameplay is still smooth and enjoyable. So yeah, Fable had really good gameplay.
Fable 1.
Yeah, Fable 1 had really good gameplay.
I never got into Fable 1 or any of the Fable games. I've only finished 2 and 3, but I did not like any of those games.
Fable 1 was the best in terms of story, at least. In terms of gameplay, they were all pretty similar. I mean, they kind of had their gameplay design and stuck with it, and it worked. It was good gameplay. I enjoy it.
Well, that's good.
They're making another Fable too, as I understand. It's not Lionhead Studios anymore. It's the
Oh,
people
thank God.
people that do that racing game, Forza, the Forza people. So it's I don't know if the gameplay is going to be similar at all, but the graphics are probably going to be fan freaking tastic.
So
Forza is all about them graphics, man.
Fable's going to be a racing game.
It's gonna have the classic Halo ending with Warthog race.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
God,
You know, you'd be riding carriages instead.
I'd be into it. I remember
That would be pretty cool.
Fable 3 just totally killed them, which, you know, I didn't think it was nearly as bad as people gave it, like said it was. I actually enjoyed Fable 3 a decent amount. Like the story sucked, but it was still fun to play for me.
It was really overhyped.
That does hurt games. Talking about Cyberpunk 2077 still.
Yeah. Oh, who was the lead developer for that game? For Fable 3?
That was still Lionhead. That was the studio that
Okay.
did it at least.
Yeah. I remember he was like talking about all the cool features in a 10-minute video. He was just like, yeah, you can like do this and do that because that's cool, man. It's cool. It's all about the power. And he got me. He got my 12-year-old ass.
I feel like the only games that really I feel like ever really delivered on the hype that the studio gave them were the Halo games, minus Halo 1 of course, cuz the original dream of Halo Combat Evolved was an open world sci-fi game where you could like there was a bunch of fauna and you could explore freely the entire Halo ring. So they didn't deliver on that. But
Well, they're
like
doing it for Halo 6.
yeah, they are now. Which is, I think is actually kind of cool because that was the original dream for Halo, was that it was going to be an open world game like that.
The gameplay looks decent.
Yeah, I think that I actually have hope for 343 to make an actual good game without just remastering one of Bungie's good games.
Yeah, Halo
Exactly.
4 was garbage. Halo 5 was even worse. But hopefully Halo Infinite is at least decent.
What were you saying, Matt?
Yeah, Halo 6, technically Halo Infinite, they've delayed the release date. It was originally going to be released now, but they've initially delayed it to early 2021, now to fall 2021. Probably next Christmas.
Well, wasn't I'm pretty sure that Cyberpunk 2077 was gonna delay their release to 2021 as well, and then they like changed their mind again and did release it this year.
Yeah, that was not a good idea.
No, like I can see why they wanted to delay it again because there's just too much freaking hype for that game, and they probably were like hoping the hype would die down and that they could fix all these bugs before the release, but then the hype was too intense and they were forced I feel like they were forced to release because of that public pressure.
Yeah.
I'm honestly really happy that 343 is delaying because they're like for example COD never delays their releases. And one of my big problems with 343's Halo is that it's becoming more and more COD like. I'm kind of hopeful that Halo Infinite's going to be a step away from just copying whatever COD's doing that year.
Yeah. Hope so.
Because we don't need any more COD. COD is enough COD.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're trying to innovate with their campaigns. But like this year's CODs, the campaign was only like 5 hours long.
Halo's trying to innovate with their campaigns?
No, Call of Duty.
Oh. Are they?
What do you
Oh
mean?
yeah,
by
this,
innovate?
they're trying to. No, they've been doing this for a while. They have branching paths, and you can actually make choices within the game
Really?
that affect the narrative. Yeah, they did it back in 2012 for Black Ops 2.
Oh yes, I remember that. You can make different decisions. For example, at the end of 2012, spoiler, but not really since it's so old, you can decide to kill the antagonist. I think it's Menendez or let him live.
Or your
Hmm.
choice is, or your hidden choice to save Alex Mason, the main character of the previous game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I only know COD for its multiplayer. I thought that they just. Because they, for a while, were seemingly abandoning campaigns. Like, really making good campaigns. They would just make really short ones that were basically just tutorials to get you into the multiplayer.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool that they're getting back. Because their roots are also in campaigns, like pretty much every game. Because very few games used to be multiplayer. They were all campaign based, and same with like the earlier COD games. They were like they had multiplayer, I guess, but you needed to play at LAN. So the focus was definitely on the story, and it's cool to see games kind of getting back into that.
Yeah. And COD also seems to be there's kind of a secret side too now with the addition of Warzone. It's sort of like Halo where you have a massive open world. You can go around. There's kind of two main modes. There's Battle Royale and Plunder. Battle Royale is where you start off with some basic weapon like a pistol or something and shoot others until the last teammate wins. Very competitive. Plunder, you're trying to make as much money as possible until the end. You can run around this entire massive map to get to $1 million.
What I feel like would be cool in a game would be an open world where you enter, then you need to complete objectives, and your objectives may not be the same as like the people around you, and then you like need to get to an extraction point. I feel like that would be a pretty cool gameplay. So it's like battle royale, but everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and you don't know who's necessarily friend or foe because like maybe
Yeah, that's
you don't need to kill them, and maybe they don't need to kill you because you're actually not in the way of the objective. But some people are going to be in your way. I don't know. It'd be complicated, but I feel like it'd be pretty cool.
like maybe your goal is go seize that thing, and the other guy's goal is to protect it at all costs.
Yeah, but then there's like 3 or 4 other guys that have their own like, go fucking find this package and retrieve it or whatever. And maybe like 2 or 3 people need to retrieve the same package while these other 2 teams are fighting over this hostage. All on the same map.
that'd be pretty neat.
It'd be chaotic as hell. But I feel like it would also be really cool. Because then you need to pick your battles and be like, I don't know, are these guys hostile? Do we need to take them out? Or can we save our bullets and possibly some armor or whatever?
And if I die, where would I respawn
If you respawn.
if I respawn?
A lot of battle royales you don't respawn.
Yeah, in the battle royales in COD, if you die, you go into the prison called the Gulag. If you can make your way out of that, kill somebody else who's there, you get back in. But if you die there, you're fucked. You're done. You're done.
The gulag.
Gulag.
That's how you get yourself hauled off to the gulag.
It sounds like a hot dish to me. Gulag.
Sounds like goulash.
Yeah, the hot dish. Goulash.
Yum.
Yeah.
Goulash.
Yum. Getting hauled off to the gulag.
Yeah. Honestly,
Oh,
I don't like Warzone's battle royale. I I almost exclusively play the plunder. It's because it's still possible to have fun even if you're losing big time.
yeah, I can't keep up. I would be bad at that game. I'd probably want to play Plunder too. I can't keep up with like I tried to play Fortnite way back when it was
Hmm.
just getting popular, and
I remember that. I
oh
was the only
man,
one who didn't have a computer.
I I was no contest. People would literally build me into their fucking fortress that they were making, and then they just like place a trap. And I was I was like a fly caught in a spider's web. I was so bad. I was so unbelievably bad at that game. I can't I just don't have the time to commit to games to be competitive with today's gaming community.
Yeah, that's why I don't like battle royale. I just yeah.
I just get slapped instantly.
Slapped. I describe it more like getting crushed by a fucking bulldozer.
You're flying, you're getting slapped by a very large human.
By a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
that's
battle
more
royale
like it.
plunder. I'll fucking hear on the mic. I remember I killed somebody. Like I heard some 12-year go like, "You killed me!"
Those damn squeakers.
I just played Halo again, just like a couple days ago, and I tried to play. It was Halo Reach, and I was playing the Lone Wolf mission. And I tried to play it on Legendary, and I killed like two things, and then got destroyed. Like
Rape.
I
By
remember
what?
by Elite, you know,
Oh,
just a standard Elite shot me, and I died. But
elites are bastards in that game.
they are pretty rough. But I remember when I was, I don't know, like in middle school or whenever that came out. Yeah, middle school. Um, I could play that last mission, and I could stay alive for like 20 something minutes. I feel like maybe not that long, but like I could stay alive for a pretty long time and take some people out. I was like, no, like 2 minutes and I was done. I'm so much slower, and I can't hit anything either. I keep overcorrecting because I'm also more used to playing on PC now. So, like having a controller in my hand feels weird.
DC Master Race.
It's just yeah, it's just that like that's all I had to do when I was that age. Just play games and
But didn't your parents take away your, like, didn't allow you to play during the weekdays?
yeah, that's true. But even though I couldn't play during the weekdays, I still had infinitely more time for video games than I do now.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, like because during the weekends I would still have like roughly 16 hours to play games or whatever the hell. Maybe not that long, but you know, I'd have hours to play games every weekend. I don't have hours to play games most weeks. Um,
I I have a little too much time to play video games.
I don't know. It's good to have
That's
recreation for sure. I've
Yeah, but this is a little too much recreation.
It's rough with between Rona and winter time though.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And you have school,
Yeah,
I guess. Are you done with school now?
but
Are you done with your semester?
I'm done.
Hell
Holy
yeah.
fuck.
Did you
I'm
fuck
done.
it? Did you beat it? Is it dead?
Yes, it's dead. Finally.
Nice.
Oh god, what a rough semester. It wasn't hard. It was just boring as fuck. Like I don't do online classes. I just can't.
No, they're rough. How are they doing online classes now? Because when I first started, they I don't know, just did Zoom meetings and recorded the screen. And
Well, we
tests were a
didn't.
joke because everyone was just using Chegg for the tests.
Yeah, I cheated a lot on tests.
They haven't found a
A
way
lot.
to even like slightly reduce that.
Not really. Nope.
Mm.
My
And
professor had this discussion.
every test was open notes.
They would need to be at
So
this point, practically. I mean, unless you're gonna have a proctor sit and watch a Zoom call, and even then, like, it would be so ludicrously easy to cheat that even like with a proctor, there's really no point.
yeah,
That's what my former university and where my brother goes now. They have a proctor set up on Zoom, and they monitor, see what exactly he's doing.
So like they can only see a certain like small portion of the room. Like the camera doesn't cover the whole room, so he could have another computer just slightly out of camera or whatever typing, you know? Like how can they even with the proctor, how can they actually regulate people's behavior during the test? Like the logistics, I don't understand how they could do it.
Hmm.
Unless they had like mandatory camera setups that's like you need to have this degree of visibility in your station of taking this test. You need to like have your camera mounted a certain number of feet away from you, and we need to see a certain percentage of your body or whatever.
I'm not sure. I think that's what they do. I think, for example, they require to see where his hands are.
At all times.
Yeah.
I guess that makes
Uh,
somewhat more sense.
yeah.
Still seems
But I
hard to
think,
regulate.
yeah, particularly
yep.
in my last semester, what happened for me for testing was I I have a take home exam, but no multiple choice or anything like that. And according to the professor, at least, the questions were actually novel. Like he he just made them up on his own. So you had which would mean Chegg would be useless. Uh, you really could theoretically do is talk to your colleagues, see what they have to come up with. But there's really nothing to stop me from doing that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, at that point, the test basically becomes a really hard group homework assignment.
Yeah, in fact, my professor acknowledging this said he will allow you to group up with one other person, and only one other person, and you both can submit a joint test together.
See, that's smart. I feel like people will actually obey that rule
Yeah,
because even just
yeah,
like that one concession by the professor's part endears the entire process to the students, at least to some extent. I mean, I'm sure there's still some people that cheated and, got groups of 6 or whatever the fuck. But even like that small gesture by the teacher, like, I know that this system that we have right now sucks. So I'm going to give you a partner. Like, and I know a lot of people that under that situation actually did just respect the professor's rule.
yeah.
I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and I was in a graduate class as well, so I think the assumption there was that if you're in if you're in graduate school, I trust you to not cheat.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I think.
I think.
Oh,
Oh, he has seen. I remember. I think he's talked, but he also threatened us with uh the fear of God, saying if I catch even one of you talking with anyone else outside of your group, then we're going to have in-person we are going to have in-person exams throughout the entire semester.
mm,
Although he said that before COVID, so take-home exams even before COVID was a thing.
I feel like that's becoming more and more common as time passes.
Yeah, I had the same professor several times, even in undergraduate level classes as well. He almost always had take-home exams. I think the reason he said it was so that he could actually make the problems more interesting, more difficult, utilize some software like MATLAB or other computational software, and you would be forced to learn how to use that to solve a problem.
That's really good. That's important. I think a lot of classes don't teach students how to use software enough and actually force them to use software because pretty much any job in STEM you're going to be using you're not going to be doing these kinds of calculations by hand. So it's important that you
Yeah.
learn how to use the software. And they don't seem to teach you that crap until graduate school, which is stupid because undergrads also primarily use software in their post-college life. So
Yeah. I had a conversation about it with my electrodynamics professor, and I think after the semester ended, I asked him if I could have the final that I took just for reference later if I want to restudy it or something like that. At first, he was hesitant because it's really difficult to create an electrodynamics exam that can be done at an undergraduate level in like an hour, 2 hours, is what he said.
yeah, he doesn't want to rewrite it or come up with a separate question bank.
Yeah, it's hard because there's really not a lot of problems that can be done by hand in just an hour or so. There's really just a handful of questions that you could possibly be asked. It makes it easier to study though, to be honest.
Yep, that's true. I remember that from my upper level EMAGS class as well. Like there were only a few things that you could reasonably ask on the exam.
Yeah.
Which really lowered the number of things you needed to study.
Yes.
Is he gonna ask about this really obscure shape that he talked about in class that he said you'd need uh, software to actually do the calculations? He probably won't ask that because we are given a TI-89 calculator and that's it. So we probably anything that requires MATLAB is probably off the books for today.
Yep. Yep.
I think
Ultimately, I got.
go
Oh,
go
sorry.
for it.
Ultimately, I was able to get the final. He trusted me not to spill it out to others, and yeah, I've never shown it to anybody else, but me. I can honestly say that. So I didn't even tell anyone that I have the exam until now.
Now you've told the
Sorry,
world.
professor, if you're listening. Yeah.
As long as you
Well,
don't
no,
give
they
it
don't.
out, he probably doesn't give a shit if you tell people you have it.
Yeah.
I doubt that he thinks that people are going to try and break into your house to steal your copy of the test. Track you down. I need that
No.
thermo exam. I feel like the energy they would expend in securing the package from you would be greater than just studying for the exam.
Yeah.
Then in
I don't know.
my department, they didn't
Mhm.
change the exams like at all. And they would like so some of the classes they would rotate questions and about half the exam would be different each year. But so half the exam would be different from the year before, and then the other half of the exam would be the same as the test the year before that. So they only had like 3 versions of the exam, and they all shared 50% of their content. Um, and all the students knew that, and the professors let pretty much every class I had in my department had some level of open notes. Dude, just getting previous exams was rampant in my department.
Hmm.
It was insane. Like that's just what you did. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it where I've had professors give out previous exams they've done in the past. Yeah, and almost and sometimes usually oftentimes the next exam would be very much like the previous exam, kind of with different setups and everything, but you could just tell it has the same kind of theme to it, if that makes
Same
sense.
format.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the classes were like that, where it was like the same question with numbers changed or whatever, same format of the question, same general format. But like, did your professors that do that let you have open notes or a note sheet?
No, actually, they would give us a formula sheet. Um, yeah, I think I remember when I took classical physics 1, we were learning mainly
Hmm.
mechanics and stuff like that. We were given no formula sheets at all, and nothing. We get told to you need to internalize the equations, memorize the basic few building blocks, and derive everything else.
Pretty.
The second exam, yes, second semester with electrodynamics, he said, "Well, there's so many different equations. I can't possibly expect you to memorize them all, so I'm going to give you an equation sheet."
Hmm. Yeah, that's quite a bit different than my EE program. I suppose that those were your physics classes though. My physics department
Yeah.
was pretty good. I have no complaints there. They did generally give formula sheets, or they let you make your own, but they did not just hand out the previous. Uh, well, they did give you back your previous exams, but they didn't reuse the questions year after year.
Yeah.
Um, dude.
You know what my professor did?
Hmm.
Hmm.
She used the questions from the textbook or the company from the textbook and just put it on the test. So it was really easy for me to find the answers
Wow.
on the internet. So I used Quizlet for just trying to ID plants or whatever for another class, and I typed in a question and it led me to Quizlet, and I found all of the questions and answers from my final on that website. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna pass this test because I did not study for this.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was pretty checked out by the end.
Online school's brutal. Online
I
school is
just had
brutal.
no, I had no motivation left. I was like, fuck my life. This is boring,
Dude, that,
and I'm not learning shit.
that as a shifting point in my college career was my second year in my EE program. I went to talk to one of my professors about an exam I took, and this is a tenured professor. Like he's been working there for 30 years or something like that, maybe longer. I think longer than that even. And I was talking to him about this question I got wrong, and he's like, you can. Why didn't you just get a previous exam? Like this is on previous exams. And he literally told me to get previous exams from upperclassmen to use because he gives us open notes. And he's like, "Why didn't you just get a previous exam? You would have gotten this right." Like, what the fuck?
Hey, at least
That
you
just
got
changed.
feedback for your.
Yeah, that just
At least
changed
you
my
got
college,
feedback.
the trajectory of my college career. I was like, okay, I guess that's just what you do here. You even the professors are like, yeah, you get previous exams, you write the answers down, I give you an A. I don't really care. Just wild.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I was saying at least you got feedback for your exams. This semester I got almost no feedback because my professor had a hard time correcting everything because she didn't know how to use our website. Because all of our classes are meant to be in person. And I went through an entire month thinking I was failing every single class because she hasn't put in the grades. I'm
That
like,
is
oh my
so
god.
annoying.
Yeah, like for an entire month. I mean, I would just check in the morning. Like I would have like 60% out of 100 for my grade, and I'm like, no, this can't be it. I'm failing this class. Oh no.
Uh,
Then I discovered that was not the case.
that's good.
I did pretty well, but oh god, it did not help my mental health.
No,
So
that's
was it
very stressful.
was it counting assignments not graded yet as 0 or something like that? And that's why,
Yes.
yeah, I fucking hate it when the software does that because it makes your grade looks a lot worse than it really is.
I kind of like that because as soon as I get like a B, I'm like, wow, if I stop now and literally did nothing for the rest of the semester, I would get a B. I always liked that thought at that point of the semester when I finally hit B level. I was like, I could stop.
You gotta be careful of that, especially if, for example, you skip up on a final or something like that. Because I don't know, I've seen some syllabuses where they condition you at least participating in the final on passing the class.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
You
gotta
could
watch
go
out for
there and literally take the
things like that.
final, write your name on it, hand it back with nothing filled in, and walk out.
That's fair too. Yeah.
Be like, I got a B. Fuck you. Never
Yeah.
did that, of course, but like the thought it was in my mind, like I could do that, and that like gave me a lot more confidence to do the final. Then I was like, it doesn't matter that much how I do on this final, and like that thought was like very relaxing, and I think actually let me do quite a bit better on the final. Because I was like, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that I get a B. So
Mhm.
whatever. It was nice. It's a nice feeling when you get that. My school supposedly had a rule that at midterms professors needed to enter a midterm grade like a week after midterms. But my department never. I mean, it's a couple professors did. Whenever I complain or tell bad stories about my department, there's always a couple exceptions to this. But as the general rule, my professors did not enter a midterm grade. And I would oftentimes like go and be like, talk to them and be like, okay, can you tell me roughly what my grade is at? And the majority of them were always surprised that I was even there. And they're like, why are you asking me? You're going to pass. They would oftentimes just be like, well, you're going to pass. I'm like, yeah, but what's my grade? And like, you're going to pass. You're fine. Like, why are you asking me this? So weird.
Yeah, it's almost like your GPA you're getting your first job kind of depends on your GPA, and almost like getting scholarships depends on your GPA. Who knew?
I had so many surreal moments at my department. Just so weird. Where I'm like, where they're just so surprised that I would be interested in anything to do with school. Like, okay. I don't know why you're so surprised that I'm in your office asking you a question about the course material.
Well, a lot of us are slackers. A lot of us are not school people.
Yeah. It's just I feel like there's also a big difference in life importance between the students and the professors. Like for the
Oh
professors,
yeah.
it's just their job. They have a whole life outside of it. I mean, it's probably they probably don't even do a full 40 hours for a lot of them. At least at my school, they probably weren't even working 40 hours. So it's like less than full-time job for them that they just teach some kids how to do some engineering stuff. But for the students, it's pretty much your entire life for 4 years, other than maybe some recreation on the side. And I I guess, a lot of students a job, um, either part time or full time, but generally not a very fun job. It's the primary factor in your life, and your job during college. The point of your job is to pay for your school. So even then, school is the main like motivating force behind doing the job. Is to actually pay for school. So
Then there's the research.
school pretty much like consumes your whole life for that 4 years or 5 years.
Oh, but then there's the research to do as well. Often, if you're for example, a fully tenured professor, you're the teaching a bunch of undergrads is probably not the first thing you would like to do. It's gonna be doing research that you actually want to do.
Depends on the professor, but yeah. I mean, for some professors at my school, I don't like they had a research project, but they didn't necessarily need to work on it to make their job a 40-hour job. Like, even with the research, they were not working close to 40 hours. Like all you need to do, especially if you're a tenured professor, to keep your job, you need to publish a paper, but you don't necessarily need to have the most content in that paper. It depends on the school as well, I'm sure. Yeah. Results may vary, I guess is what I'm saying. As with expectations. But we're actually
Mayor.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Matt?
I was gonna say, Mayor, about to say something.
What? Oh no, I'm good.
You just said fuck school.
Yeah, just fuck school.
Oh.
I'm done with it. Like my mind has been turned to mush again.
You only have one more semester, so hell yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, you are graduating.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
finally. I can actually find a full-time job and start paying off these loans.
Let's get it, boys.
Let's do it.
And when I say boys, I of course also mean girls.
Okay.
All right. On that
Yeah.
note,
I need to spend this entire. I'm going to spend this winter break just trying to get myself back on my feet. Because been going to sleep too late, waking up at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's been not good.
dude,
I've not been exercising.
I already miss that college grind though, especially towards the end of the semester when things are getting really intense and you're burning the candle at both ends. You're probably getting like I really wouldn't go below 7 hours of sleep generally, but like that was my minimum. So I was getting the minimum sleep that I found acceptable to like stay functioning as a human. And so I was running on minimum sleep, eating like in between whenever I could between studying, and there's something to be said for that, like that burnout, especially at the end of the semester, that end of semester burnout. I love it actually. It's kind of like working out as well. Burning out at the end of your workout, and then you're just like flooded with endorphins. I was like the feeling of my brain being completely exhausted.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Really? Oh man.
I love feeling sharp. I love feeling energetic, but I'm not like that most of the time.
Well, like the brain, not your brain feeling exhausted, like slow, but like it's been worked. Like you've used it,
Oh,
and your brain is like tired from you thinking
Hmm.
or problem solving
yeah,
or learning a lot, and your brain is like, I can't handle any more information.
I haven't really got that because again, it's open notes. I can just open up my textbook and rewatch the lectures. So yeah, I wasn't thinking that much.
Yeah, I'm actually that's probably the most tragic thing of COVID for me so far, like me personally in my life. Um, and I'm very lucky to be able to say this. But it is that it fucked up the end of my college career. My last semester was lame, very lame. It was a whimper.
Yeah, this whole year's a whimper.
Because I don't know, I got really lazy. I dropped so many balls at the end of college because I knew that I could let stuff slide. Um, and I like wasn't going anywhere. I don't know. I was not in the best emotional state, I suppose. That's an excuse,
Uh,
but I definitely let things slip in school and did not end up achieving that end of the year burn that I normally do. Um, I kind of just skated by because I knew that I could get away with shit.
yeah.
Especially with my department being how it is, man. So,
Uh, who thought coming into 2020 and, thought that this was going to be a great year?
I expected it to
This
be
is
much
my
like
year.
any other year. And
For me, it turned out great. I mean, at the beginning, it was great. And then, now it's just in complete shambles. God, I'm so sick of everything.
well, hopefully it will just whimper out in the next couple weeks here. You know,
Yeah, hope so.
that's honestly all that I can hope for this year's end is that it dies with a whimper.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
just as long as nothing
No.
huge happens, like it can stay this level of shitty for the next 2 weeks, and I'll be like, thank God nothing catastrophic happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, on that sour note, I hope you had fun today. We're at time, so thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It was fun. Glad we did it. And I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.